I don't just talk about other people's stuff, I also make my own. Books in particular. To date, I have 4 books you can check out on Amazon. Operation Red Dragon: The Kaiju Wars Part 1, Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and the short story collection Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Hop on down to the description for Amazon links to all 4 books. Enjoy whichever ones you read, and enjoy the video.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Omni viewer, and when I do these collectible reviews, I do usually acknowledge that a lot of what I review can technically be classified as action figures that were originally designed to be played with by kids. That's not the context in which I'm reviewing them though. However, it seems Playmates has released something that is specifically designed for display, and therefore, you could say it appeals more to an adult collector like myself. I speak, of course, of the Hong Kong Battle Diorama set for Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't have a version of it to hold, it's way too big and unwieldy for that.
Unlike other items in the line which come in display packaging, this set comes in a proper rectangular box. Now yes, I can see that mine is dented on top, and I was concerned about that, but this was the only one in the store, so I had to take the chance. Luckily, the contents were not affected. As you can see, the promo images that cover the box make this look like a very high quality set, and there's only one way to know if these pictures are lying. Once opened, you have the smaller accessories in a plastic bag, the city portions in a plastic sleeve, and Godzilla and Kong strapped in. Like I said, nothing was damaged despite the box's visible dent.
Let's get the figures out of the way first. That part will be easy to talk about because I've basically already spoken about it.
Godzilla and Kong are the same standard figures we've seen so many variations of by now. If you want to know my breakdowns of them as figures, go watch the individual videos I did of them. The only thing new about these guys is how they're now painted with orange and gray highlights to help them blend in with the urban environment. These details are not applied uniformly, which makes them feel a bit more organic, I suppose, but are they really necessary? Well, if we were judging them as individual figures, I would say no. Comparing them to the other Hong Kong battle figures, I would say they look better than the neon-hued Kong, but not as interesting as the translucent Godzilla. Then again, these guys are colored this way because they're meant to go in a display, so we'll see what happens once they're in the proper environment. As for the accessories, we have Kong's axe, Godzilla's heat ray, a heave, and a fighter jet. All of these are things we've seen before. Heck, the heave is literally the same army green version that comes with Mechagodzilla. The only new thing worth noting regards the heat ray. Previous versions of this item usually angled down when placed in Godzilla's mouth, as if his target is below his eye line. This time, though, the beam is aimed straight ahead. Well, not precisely straight ahead, but it is more perpendicular to the ground, as you can see in this comparison shot. This means if you want to recreate a scene where Kong is blocking Godzilla's ray with his axe, it looks more like it's aimed at the Eighth Wonder's head and chest, as opposed to his knees or his groin. It's a nice change, I admit, but that alone isn't much of a selling point, so let's get to the rest of it. The building pieces must be punched out of these tiles, and instructions are included. I won't bore you with the details of assembly, but I will say it went together easily enough. However, the process did reveal one potential issue. According to the box, these pieces are made of chipboard.
Now, when I think of chipboard, I think of something that's basically cardboard, but sturdier, meant to last a bit more, kinda like what a game board is made out of. These are the tiles that the building pieces were in. Observe. This is not chipboard. Or if it is, then the definition of chipboard has changed since the last time I checked.
Yes, the material is pretty flimsy, and if you're not careful, it can tear or peel. I was careful during assembly, and some of the edges still got a little frayed by the time I was done.
I have dealt with similar display pieces in the past. Like I used to have the Star Wars Mos Eisley Cantina display that was also made of a very thin cardboard, but I remember that still being sturdier than this stuff.
Then again, perhaps a more accurate comparison would be to the Trendmaster set of Godzilla attacking New York City. The cardboard for this one is much sturdier. Heck, it's been more than 2 decades and mine still looks good. Not to mention it has real plastic buildings to add dimension to it. Anyway, once assembled, the city looks like this. The details are fine, I suppose, at least for the most part. The setting is a city in the process of being destroyed, and this means there's not much in the way of intact landmarks that scream Hong Kong to the casual observer. The imagery is not quite photoreal, but looks just real enough to get the job done. It definitely doesn't look as pristine as what the box promises. It's not a difference of night and day per se, but it is still more obviously assembled in person. That's to be expected, I guess. My biggest issue is with these standing pieces. You're meant to fold them before inserting them, but if that's all you do, they won't stay together. They will spread open at the top, thus breaking the illusion unless you glue or tape them together. What happens when we place the main subjects into the setting? It looks alright. Seeing them in context, those aforementioned painted highlights on Godzilla and Kong do help them look more at home in the scenery. To my surprise, the material is a little bit sturdier than I initially thought, as Kong is able to stand atop this one three-dimensional building without toppling or falling through. Even the vehicles can be incorporated into the set better than expected. You can't have them flying around like on the box, but there are ways to cheat. If you saw my earlier videos, you may recall that the Heave has a hollowed-out bottom. Here, that allows it to rest atop the smaller terrain pieces and even adopt some dramatic angles. The jet can also be hooked into the skyline and sort of hang there as though in flight, and it looks much better than I expected. With all of that said, is this set worth it? Well, it's a cheap set, but that has two meanings here. First, it's cheap in terms of material, and if you prefer something durable with high detail, this doesn't deliver for the price. On the other hand, this set costs about as much as a single high-quality plastic building on Amazon. With some finagling, maybe this set really could make for a cool display piece or backdrop for photography. That would be for the super hardcore fans on a budget, though. For more casual collectors or collectors who want higher quality in their displays, unless you don't have any of the previous Godzilla or Kong figures and you really want these ones, there's not enough new here to justify the purchase.
It's ultimately your choice, but I would recommend thinking really hard about it before you put down the money. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. Well, I did find a place to put it at least. That spot really did need something.
Congratulations, you reached the end. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to consider supporting us on Patreon. Of course, the other way to support us is to go to Amazon and check out our books, Operation Red Dragon, The Kaiju Wars Part 1, The Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Also check the description for links to DeviantArt and other platforms we operate. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.